Hadirin, mohon untuk penuhkan kerusi hadapan dengan kadar segera. Terima kasih. Perhatian, sila pastikan telefon bibit anda dalam keadaan senyap untuk memastikan kelancaran majlis kita pada hari ini. Terima kasih. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam keluarga Malaysia. Yang berbahagia, Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman, perintis dalam bidang sains dan teknologi di Malaysia. Yang berbahagia, Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah Dambul, Ketua Eksekutif Institut Kajian Pembangunan Sabah, IDS merangkap Ketua Pengurusi Jawatan Teknikal Majlis Pembangunan Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, MAPTIS, Pegawai-pegawai utama dan kanan, Universiti Malaysia Sabah, Pegawai-pegawai Kementerian, Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, Ketua-ketua Jabatan, Agensi Kerajaan Negeri dan Persekutuan, pensyarah, guru-guru serta pelajar-pelajar IPT, sekolah menengah, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati sekalian. Selamat datang ke program Bicara Kanta Sains UMS bersama Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman. Ini merupakan program Sains pertama bertujuan untuk memupuk minat anak-anak muda dalam bidang sains, teknologi, kejuruteraan dan matematik STEM dan julung-julung kalinya diadakan di UMS. Untuk makluman para hadirin, program pada hari ini disokong penuh oleh Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah Mosti dan Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Malaysia. Hadirin yang dihormati, sebelum memulakan majlis kita pada hari ini, izinkan saya untuk memperkenalkan moderator kita pada hari ini. Moderator kita pada hari ini tidak lagi asing dan sinonim dengan Universiti Malaysia Sabah, iaitu Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah Dambul yang kini merupakan Ketua Eksekutif Institut Kajian Pembangunan Sabah IDS, merangkap Ketua Pengurusi Jawatan Kuasa Teknikal Majlis Pembangunan Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah MAPTIS. Beliau berkelulusan sarjana muda sains dari Universiti Malaya dan meneruskan pengajian di peringkat sarjana sastra dari Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia dan seterusnya melanjutkan pelajaran sarjana kedoktoran di University of East Anglia, United Kingdom. Pengalaman kerjaya beliau pernah menyandang tugas dan tanggungjawab utama sebagai Timbalan Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Malaysia Mosti pada tahun 2016 sehingga 2019 dan merupakan mantan Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi UMS dari tahun 2019 sehingga 2022. Hadirin yang dihormati, hari ini kita cukup bertua kerana kita bersama salah seorang perintis dalam bidang sains dan teknologi di Malaysia. Dia yang saya maksudkan adalah Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman. Profesor Emerita bukan sahaja seorang wanita yang telah membina kerjaya dalam bidang sains angkasa dan juga merupakan ahli astrofizik pertama di Malaysia. Profesor Emerita juga pernah dilantik sebanyak 2 kali sebagai pengarah Pejabat Pertubuhan Bangsa-Bangsa Bersatu, iaitu dari tahun 1999 sehingga tahun 2002. Dan lantikan kedua bermula pada tahun 2007 sehingga 2013. Panel kita juga merupakan Ketua Pengasas Pengarah Angkasa di Agensi Angkasa Negara Malaysia selama 5 tahun. Profesor Emerita juga memperolehi ijazah Doktor Falsafah dalam bidang fizik dari University of Otago di New Zealand. Dan beliau merupakan wanita pertama yang telah memperolehi ijazah Doktor Falsafah dalam bidang fizik sejak penubuhan universiti tersebut pada tahun 1869. Dengan itu, Majlis mempersilakan yang berbahagia Profesor Emerita dan Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah Dambul untuk mengambil tempat. Dengan ini, saya serahkan majlis kepada moderator. Dipersilakan.
Boleh silakan. Okey, boleh. Okey, assalamualaikum. Selamat pagi. Boleh dengar tak? Boleh ya? Ini pun new innovation mangkali ya. Macam ada bulu-bulu lagi. Cordless mic. Tan Sri, this is my first time lah nampak cordless mic macam ni.
Macam ni.
Okey. Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi semua. Apa khabar Tan Sri? Selamat datang ke negeri Sabah dan ke UMS. This is your first time ke Tan Sri? To
Ke
UMS?
Mana? Ke UMS? Tidak. Saya semenjak tahun 82.
Okey.
Saya datang ke sini sewaktu itu kampus ini sebahagian daripada UKM.
Ya. Okay.
Dan saya mulakan kerjaya saya dengan UKM. Ada jabatan fizik di sini.
Ya.
Dan saya pernah datang sini bagi lecture dan seterusnya.
Okey. Tan Sri, kalau tadi kita ini untuk tuan-tuan dan puan-puan lah. Probably saya bagi sikit lagi pengenalan untuk Tan Sri sebelum kita pergi kepada tajuk. Sebab tadi banyak yang disebut tu adalah ketokohan Tan Sri sebagai seorang saintis. Banyak merintislah, pioneer dalam pelbagai bidang. Di universiti di New Zealand itu pun adalah merupakan wanita pertama yang mendapat ijazah di dalam degree tersebut, which is normally male dominated punya field lah. So, ya. Dan kita punya sains angkasa di Malaysia ini pun sebenarnya bidang dia, kalau kita kata, mungkin sains angkasa is one of the most technical and difficult science lah untuk kita advocate. And kita ada seorang wanita yang berjaya mencambahkannya lah di Malaysia. Dan sebenarnya Tan Sri ini, kita ada ramai saintis di Malaysia, ramai saintis yang tersohor. Tapi tidak ramai saintis yang boleh keluar daripada bidang dia sendiri. Scientist and a scientist, that is fine. It is good because they contribute a lot. But actually, we also need scientists who can advocate. Kan, in terms of policy, how the government do their planning and everything. Kan, sebab kalau kita kalau sebagai seorang scientist and you are good as a scientist, maybe your contribution is limited to that, kan, your innovation. But when you advocate for policy, when you advocate for bigger picture of science and technology, and then you can really contribute to the nation, even to the world. And actually itu yang Tan Sri buat. Dan satu lagi, saya rasa yang istimewa dengan Tan Sri ini, saya kenal Tan Sri sebab dulu kan saya timbalan ketua setiausaha sains di Mosti. Jadi Tan Sri adalah sebagai salah seorang advocate dalam sains, teknologi dan inovasi, juga seorang ahli Akademi Sains Malaysia yang mana dia diselia di bawah kementerian kami, selalu bertemu dengan Tan Sri lah, bukan saja dalam bidang sains angkasa tapi dalam bidang how to basically promote science, technology and innovation as a whole. Dan kemahiran Tan Sri ini dan saya fikir ini juga yang kurang lah Tan Sri sekarang ini di kalangan saintis kita. When they become scientists and they are so scientists, they don't really care about other sectors. Sedangkan we know that science, technology and innovation ni adalah cross sector. It is a multidiscipline. Only then it is meaningful. And I think Tan Sri have that quality lah that not many good scientists in Malaysia have. Saya ingat lagi Tan Sri dulu, Tan Sri pernah membentangkan, I think it is Science Outlook and actually Tan Sri lead untuk bidang industri kreatif.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mungkin sebagai permulaan Tan Sri, maybe before we go to the, yang ditajukkan oleh kita punya program, pada pandangan Tan Sri lah, I mean, why is it important for scientists to really understand the domain beyond their own field?
Jawapannya ialah kerana for any problem you want to solve today, any challenge. Today we talk about climate change. Let's say, for instance, you want to talk about the role of robots in the future and the role of genetic engineering. All those are highly scientific subjects. But you must have the human aspect of those subjects. And in fact, you realize that the human aspects are more important than the scientific aspects. So kalau kita jaga dari segi ethics, etikanya, integriti kita sebagai manusia, kebanyakan daripada masalah yang timbul dari sains tu boleh diminimumkan. Jadi dan untuk kita sampai ke tahap itu ialah para saintis kita mesti tahu aspek-aspek sosiologi, parts of humanity, untuk membina satu spirit dalam kita yang sentiasa peka akan isu-isu di luar daripada bidang sains kita yang kita buat dekat lab tu. Kalau ada saintis dekat sini, saya boleh beri sedikit tip lah ya. Bila saya mencari seorang, if I want to recruit anybody, I tengok the application. I bukan saja tengok you punya qualification. I tengok juga benda-benda yang you buat luar daripada bidang you. Are you interested in music? Apa hobi you? Ada tak you buat apa-apa untuk community misalnya? Because orang macam saya, bila cari orang untuk my organisation, we are looking for multi-dimensional people, not single-dimensional. So kalau you ada hobi, you must pursue that hobby. Jangan fikir ini hobi je kan, I don't have to do this anymore. Whether it's dancing or music or crafts, itu yang bila you ada tu orang nampak. So itu yang untuk menjawab soalan tu. Ialah bila kita ada this dimension hobi atau athletics or games, you jumpa orang luar daripada bidang you. So bila you jumpa orang luar daripada bidang you, then you faham that life is not non-dimensional.
Kata-kata daripada seorang saintis tersohor tentang pentingnya multi-dimensional. Dan untuk makluman, sebenarnya Tan Sri ini bukan sahaja seorang saintis yang ialah saintis yang terkenal seperti yang kita ni. Beliau juga semasa zaman universiti dan sekolah Tan Sri, saya difahamkan seorang atlet dan seorang seni. Tan Sri ni kalau nyanyi lagu, saya cakap bagi tahu sedap suara Tan Sri. Kan? So itulah. Okey, Tan Sri, lanjutan daripada itu juga Tan Sri, kita masih lagi dalam proses warm up. Nanti kami akan pergi kepada perubahan iklim. Perubahan iklim itu adalah bidang saya, climatology, dan definitely we will touch on that. Terutama dengan keadaan La Nina sekarang ni. Satu lagi Tan Sri, because that is very interesting Tan Sri. And actually this one Tan Sri, bila diorang tahu saya akan moderate Tan Sri, I have many scientists tahu, terutama sekali daripada akademik yang hantar saya soalan. Can you please ask this question to Tan Sri? Now, soalan dia ni panas sikit lah Tan Sri.
Fine.
Now, di Malaysia ini Tan Sri, 80% of our scientists and technology is actually in the university. Kita ada ramai ni di university. Dan orang kata that is the reason why our science technology innovation di Malaysia ini is not really flourishing, because what we have is theories, semua di university, not in the industry. But then we have many efforts lah, try to bridge that. Masa dulu kita di Kementerian Sains Teknologi, itu adalah masalah yang daripada dulu we are trying to solve that. Saya rasa Tan Sri, salah satu masalah paling besar kenapa kita tidak pernah dapat bridge kita punya saintis teknologi yang di universiti ini ke real industry adalah sikap universiti itu sendiri. I mean they have different approach of how we should tackle science, teknologi semua ni. Tan Sri, saya mau bagi tahu Tan Sri, di universiti ini they don't appreciate multidisciplinary. You cannot naik pangkat lah kalau saya dalam mudah bahasa senang yang mudah. If you are, say for example, if you are physicist, ahli fizik, okay, kamu perlu buat, kamu punya kajian dalam bidang fizik kamu ni apa semua, we will only evaluate that for your kenaikan pangkat. If you are in economy, sebagai contohnya makroekonomi lah, kalau dalam bidang kimia industri lah. And when you are trying to probably get involved in community, try to put that in a context, and they start seeing that, you ni ahli kimia industri, you ni nak jadi sosiologis kan, nak jadi musician kan, you get what I mean. And I think, Tan Sri, I mean this is my opinion, because of that, we have many scientists, technologists in the university that difficult for them to contribute to the society because as Tan Sri rightly said just now, you need to be multidimensional for you to really able to contribute to the real problem in real world. So, Tan Sri, what is your take to that, Tan Sri?
So, the answer lies at various levels. One is at your level, your individual level. And the next is the organizational level, which is the university. The third is, of course, at the national level.
Yeah.
This problem has to be tackled at all these levels. Yeah? I'll do with the individual last. Now, at the national level, you say that we have so many scientists, technologies we train. They all go back to university in the end. Now, I feel that this is the problem at the national level. Why is it at the national level? It's because, one of the fastest growing industry in the world, I mean, where there is most money, where there is supposed to be lots of innovation, is, for instance, the construction industry.
Yeah.
And yet, what has our government done to encourage innovation in the construction industry? In fact, we're going backwards because we allow foreign workers to come in.
Yeah.
So that construction company, rather than going to 3D printing, macam kita cakap tadi kan, and looking for new materials for 3D printing and whatnot, we just import people to still do bricklaying. Because itu yang paling murah, itu yang dia buat paling banyak profit, and itu yang paling senang. So then you can blame the construction company, but who is the bigger culprit there? Is the government, as I said, who allows them to bring in foreign labor.
Yeah.
And so that goes through for any other industry, if whichever sector you're interested in. I'm just talking about the construction saja.
Yeah.
So there are others. So itu at the national level. And then at the organizational level, you go for your comfort zone or for a company where they can make money most. Now, what about the university? University does not allow multi-dimensionality in a sense. I mean, I suffered from this. I talk about the individual level. It's because of your KPIs. Masa saya muda-muda dulu not so strict, bukan not so strict, not so oppressive, this KPI. But nowadays, they will promote you based on your publications. And so, universities themselves, perhaps with the kementerian, they have to change their outlook. In that you must give equal weighting when somebody does community work together with publishing in very fancy journal like Nature, or you have to give some kind of credit or some kind of recognition. But that has to come at the university level, and that has to be generally across all universities as well.
Yeah.
So at the organizational level, there has to be a change of mindset. on what is the value of this person. I am very upset when they say they look at a person from the university, untuk apa-apa pun, you want to consider for an award or whatever, you know what they ask? Apa dia punya age index? You know what's an age index? Untuk budak sekolah ni, it means that how good, how well you publish. So the bigger your age index, the better person you are.
Yeah.
Are you? Is that correct? It is not correct. Age index is only one dimension of you,
Yep.
which is how well you write a paper. And so sometimes this award, macam like the Merdeka Award,
Yeah.
they look at your age index. I ask you, when a person wins a Merdeka Award, that person has to be a household name, orang yang orang respect semua.
Yeah.
Not because you write papers for nature. When you write papers for nature, you write papers for it's a colonized way of thinking.
Exactly.
So we have to decolonize ourselves, you know. No, I'm not saying just the Merdeka Award, just to be a fellow of the academy also. It seems that you have to have a high age index, and I'm very against that, although I'm a fellow of the academy, because I think the academy needs people to solve the nation's problems. It's not by having all people with high age index. I don't think so. So that one is at organizational level.
Yeah.
Sama ada academy ke, university ke, the company ke. Yeah? Now at the individual level. At the individual level, I know kita memanglah nak naik pangkat semua kan. But I think what you will find most rewarding pada akhirnya, not in the short term, is if you chase your own passion. You must chase your own dreams. So I always did that. So I'm multidimensional, not only because in physics, because why did I come to Sabah? Because I love Sabah, because of the jungle here. So I'm one of the very few people who managed to get to Malayau Basin, for instance. I climbed Kinabalu many times just because the mountain is calling to me. You know, so those dimensions of yourself, you jangan suppress. You have to give in to those things, because they are the things that build your character. So building your character is not by staying in the lab, but going outside. So regardless lah what your university is telling you, you know, that you should be doing this, that you must only write for nature. Okay. But what is it in your heart, you know, you as an individual, what do you want to see yourself as a success? As I said, success is not only a high age index.
Yeah.
So at the individual level, you can do something too.
Thank you so much, Tan Sri. Very inspiring kan? Sebab saya rasa itu adalah cara untuk kita melihat sains teknologi in a bigger picture lah. We really want to see, but at the end of the day, kita semua manusia. And we want to pursue sains teknologi dalam bentuk kemanusiaan lah. So habis, okay. Saya tengok kita punya Encik Zawawi ni dia risau sudah bila masuk. Okey, habis sudah kami punya warm up ni. Tapi saya rasa warm up itu penting sebab selepas ini astronomi perubahan iklim di manakah kita. This is quite technical. So kalau kami terus masuk di sini, nanti kita hantar message yang salah kepada semua as if science teknologi ni is all about technical. Science, of course we all human aspect of it is also important. So we have already send that message awal-awal tadi tu. Okay. So, Tan Sri, saya punya pertanyaan yang pertama.
Yes.
Ini pun masalah saya. Masa kami di Mosti dulu, Tan Sri, bila kita, because bidang sains angkasa salah satu yang kita advocate lah masa tu, dan kebetulan masa tu ada Raza baru dilepaskan.
Yes, Raza set.
Ya. Kemudian ada satu kali itu menteri kita berucap dalam satu program tentang astronomi ni bidang sains angkasa, dan juga masa tu kita ada yang Antartika punya persidangan antarabangsa tu. Then we have people lah kan coming to the masa tu dia keluar surat khabar, liputan dia besar juga, and people are questioning. Dia kata, apa benefit? What is the benefit of you are going to angkasa, you going to kutub Antartika? Sedangkan we are talking about, jalan raya belum betul ni, kemiskinan apa dan sebagainya. So, masa tu Tan Sri, we have big problem lah to actually telling these people yang sains angkasa ini is not just about people go to angkasa, mengira bintang, memberikan nama-nama kepada bintang itu. Dalam seluruh kehidupan kita sekarang ini, whether you realize or not, ada kaitan dengan teknologi angkasa. So, Tan Sri probably as sebagai seorang ahli dalam bidang astrofizik, maybe you can elaborate on this. Okay, disilakan, Tan Sri.
I think I'll start by not only talking about astronomy, because that is the apex of knowledge, but why do we pursue frontier knowledge? Because frontier knowledge does not solve the problem of the flooding which you encounter every year. You know the problem of flooding. If you look at you tengok sampai the end tu, where did the problem originate from? Is corruption. This is so it's not a science and technology issue. So what I'm trying to say is, why you pursue frontier knowledge is, if you look in history of all the civilizations, bila you tengok what is it that makes them great. I mean, even the pyramids and all that. What makes them great is how they use the science and technology to build monuments or whatever. But that's the frontier knowledge and frontier technology is where you are at the apex of your own civilization. And every civilization is actually judged by that. They don't, let's say, they don't judge a civilization by how they solve poverty, for instance. No, they expect you to solve poverty as a matter of course, But if you want to promote yourself as a civilization, I'm talking because I'm an astronomer. We always talk thousands, billions of years into the future. And so if you look at thousands of years from now, people will see the human race right now, what would be our contribution? I bet you is to do with our highest technology and our best knowledge. So I'm talking about now at the philosophical aspect. Why is the frontier of knowledge so important? But some people don't realize that if you pursue a frontier of knowledge or technology, there are many ways this will trickle down or spin off. If you look at the United States statistics, they claim that for every dollar that they have invested in space, they have got back $22 in terms of commercialization, banyak-banyak lagi. And so it's not just about going to space, but using what you have to spin off to benefit the rest of the world. So many things that the golf ball that was invented, the holes that you see on the golf ball, that is as a result of space science, how the ball goes into the dynamics of it. But that was part of the space program, how to make that happen. So you can look up any spin-offs, space technology spin-offs, and that person would never ask this question. No, you pergi Mekah, dekat all the tents, dekat mana tu?
Mina.
Mina. Kemah-kemah tu, the tents was an innovation, it was a space innovation. Because dia punya, the quality, the characteristic of the tent is so that it keeps the heat out and whatnot. And that is part of space technology. Your frying pan is a result of space technology. Yeah.
Seriously?
Teflon was invented for the space program.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that you think that you have never benefited from space. That's wrong. Whenever you go to the bank, you transfer account. Do you know what communication you're using? Satellite communication. So if you are looking at your watch, who invented time? It's those astronomers who looked at the stars from thousands of years ago. They invented timekeeping. So you all take timekeeping, the calendar, for granted, but they were invented by the astronomers, but by the people who wanted to pursue knowledge, who was always for excellence. They never just think of the knowledge that we have now and we are satisfied with it. They cannot be satisfied with where you are now and the knowledge that you have. You must pursue something bigger than yourself, bigger than the human race. That's why I'm in astronomy. You know, if you do astronomy, you know that you tak boleh action lah. I mean, you are so small. You are a small dust in the universe. So you are fighting for some small piece of land when there is this whole universe that is out there waiting for us. You know. So as I said, astronomers are normally very humble people because you look up at the sky, you think, oh my God, there's God. And who am I? Kan? So all those people who are very arrogant right now, so they want to study astronomy. You know how small you are. So we must always pursue knowledge in whatever whatever field you are in. I'm not just talking about astronomy. Any field, you must strive for only the best and strive always to lead. Remember I talked about leading just now? You have to lead. You want to do something because you nak ikut orang lain, it's not fun. I never follow anybody. You know, I always do something which I don't know nobody is doing or people are usually scared to do. Bila orang takut nak buat sesuatu tu kan, Ramzah, that's the one I want to do. Because that is where the fun is. You know? And the challenge is. Some people think there's no fun, just challenge. No, there's a lot of fun when you do something that nobody has ever done before. Anything at all.
To be the game changer, pioneer.
Yes, an agent of change.
Saya satu lagi saya ingin tanya juga Tan Sri, masih lagi tentang astronomi. Saya ingat masa dulu sains angkasa ni sangat asing untuk Malaysia. Even dalam silibus kita zaman saya dulu Tan Sri, tak jumpa pun ini apa ni tentang sains angkasa. And then Tan Sri, you come back to Malaysia from your PhD and you try to advocate that. And you change the entire landscape. Sampai Tan Sri berjaya memujuk kerajaan untuk menubuhkan agensi angkasa Malaysia, kemudian program angkasawan. Dan bukan itu sahaja, we have many other policies that embedded in our planning and everything. Saya mau tanya Tan Sri, sebab satu Tan Sri seorang wanita. Not that I'm looking down at women, Tan Sri. Tapi di Malaysia ini kita punya policy making apa semua ni memang male dominated. It is much more difficult for women to advocate something yang this big. Tambah lagi baru kan. Dan masa tu PM kita adalah Tun Mahathir tahu. And you know Tun Mahathir, he is not easy to buy any new idea kan Tan Sri. So Tan Sri, how did you manage to do that?
I always tell people that I was extremely lucky actually. I started my career under the Prime Ministership of Tun Mahathir. So he's not the one who cuts out ideas. He's the one who encourages new ideas. Why? Because he is a visionary. You know that he had his wawasan 2020.
Yeah.
And it's about Malaysia becoming a developed country by 2020. Now, if just simple, if you just imagine you are going to be a developed country, what areas, what sectors should you be going into? Adalah agriculture, semua tu all the usual.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is one sector all developed countries are strong in. And what is that field? Space. And so he knew that if we wanted to be a truly developed country, we must also invest in the development of space science and get involved in the space program. I don't want to, benda ni boleh bercakap panjang lebar, but no war will be won today by anybody if they don't have space technology. You don't have space technology, you cannot win any war. Why I'm talking about war is because you know what motivates governments not usually. It's about being a military might. You know, that's what keeps Russia, US, China and all, India, whoever lah, even Europe. They want to be a military might. You do not talk about military leadership if you don't have space technology leadership. And I can rest my case there. So if you want to be a country that is forward-looking, strong militarily, technologically, space is one of the areas you must not only just invest, but lead in. And so maybe we are a small country, we cannot lead, but there are many ways we can use space to benefit ourselves. And I can talk for hours about how space benefits us. Bila you go on Waze or you go to Google Maps, you want to know how much longer you're going to be where at the traffic jams. Space technology. You know, you use a smartphone, space technology. There is no, every day that you wake up, there is no way, unless you are in the pendalaman Sabah, which I love to go on to. So if there's no place that you go that you do not need something about space. And even if you have a watch on your hand, remember who invented the timekeeping system? It's the astronomers. So whether you like it, you nak semayang, so what time, nak tengok kiblat tu dekat mana, semua, it's on space. So, that's why Mahathir was the, what do you call this, visionary person who could see that part of the Wawasan 2020 was space. And so I happened to be the right person at the right time. And so he heard about me. And then the PM's department called me to build the planetarium. And once the planetarium was over, he told me I should start this satellite program and so on and so forth. And so what I can say about Mahathir was he looked at people with expertise and knowledge. He did not look to see whether you are a man or you are a woman. What do you bring to the table to solve a problem? And that was all he was interested in. So, but he backed that up with real action, with money, you know. So he'll tell me, okay, you bring me a cabinet paper, tell me what you need for this. What would the amount be? I work with EPU and the Treasury and all that. So I'm lucky I was born in the right time, in the right places, of course. So sometimes when I see my young colleagues, I feel a bit sorry that the time for being challenged, you know, macam is over. I don't know, but yeah. But in those days, my friends in IT, my friends in nanotech, so we were all challenged, you know, because of this big vision. How we want to get there. So I hope one day you all sedar about another big vision that we all enjoyed. I particularly enjoyed. So it was nothing to do with being man or woman. Ramzah. It was just about your talent, your expertise. Luckily. But there is still a lot of prejudice against women because people feel that women are too emotional, that sort of thing. And then women always have problems with their family. Once they get pregnant, you don't see them for 1 year. And so how do you become a leader if you're going to disappear from the scene for 1 year? But that goes to the individual, you know, how you solve the problem. I'm not going to say to the women here that I was so good, I solved all the problems facing women. because I'm single right now, and for good reason, because I didn't succeed at a personal level in terms of a personal relationship. But I'm very happy. That's the thing, you see. I'm very happy. I've never been happier in my life. Why I'm never happier in my life? Because now I can concentrate on serving the community. I don't have somebody telling me, why you tak masak nasi tadi? Why lauk ni tak sedap?
Yeah.
So I don't have that problem anymore. I'm not saying that that's not, marriage is not for everyone. But what I'm saying is that you make the best out of your situation, of who you are or who you are with. So I'm with you right now. And I'm going to be with Zawawi. So I'm going to see how I'm going to contribute to what Zawawi wants to do. And I'm very, very keen to look at the problems yang this pendalaman. Bring science there, you know. But do the best you can for whatever situation you are in.
Okay. Seronok kan dengar Tan Sri berkongsi pengalaman. Sebenarnya Tan Sri yang pasal isu wanita tu tadi, I also believe, I subscribe to the belief that women, mainly they are equally good. They are equally good. Memang ada benda yang lelaki boleh buat, perempuan tidak boleh buat. Wanita boleh buat, tapi lelaki juga tidak boleh buat. Tapi itulah Tan Sri. Whether we want to accept it or not, dalam kita punya budaya di Malaysia ini, tetap people are still, we have this culture that is make it more difficult for women to actually do things, especially at the professional level. Tengok Tan Sri, kalau katalah, saya ni ada kawan kan, kalau wanita, kalau dia pergi outstation 3-4 minggu, orang akan tanya, outstation 3-4 minggu, anak ikutkah, suami ikutkah? Oh tidak kan, orang akan cakap, what kind of mother you are, what kind of wife you are, boleh tinggalkan diorang 1 bulan, 2 bulan kan. We have that kind of prejudice. Tapi cuba kalau lelaki, pergi mana? Outstation 6 bulan di sana tu. Anak isteri tidak ikut kah? Tidak ikut. Wah, hebat kamu boleh pergi sendiri kan? For men, that is something yang orang cakap ni. Tapi for women kan, macam tu pula kan? So, that is the culture lah. Tapi we are very lucky lah because we have somebody yang, especially kalau woman lah. I mean, if you want to put it that way, like Tan Sri, that you can actually see and take inspiration from that because we really need women in science. We really need women in science because they have different quality that not in men to make sure that we have the balance lah dalam memajukan science.
I think there were many times when I had to make a decision between giving priority to a relationship, not with my children. My children were never judging of me sampai hari ini, but of course with the spouse, he has certain needs and he wants you to do certain things. And I have to confess that many times, Ramzah, I had to decide whether this is of national interest and I'm going to make somebody irritated because I have to go and negotiate. Especially with the Masa Angkasawan program, particularly tough. Yes. I had to go and negotiate with the Russians many, many times. And every time I went, I got depressed because the Russians are very, very hard to negotiate with. They try and kill you if they can. And so you have to have this very strong thing in your head before you go. And I tried to, what is that word? Delegate. I told people, I can't go this time because, and then I send somebody. I send them there, the negotiation usually fails. And I know that, oh God, I have to go again, to make sure we as a country get what we want. So what is the issue here is to balance between an individual's requirement and a national requirement. Yeah. And at least for me, the national always won. And so certain individuals can feel very bad because they are always second to the national interest. What to do?
Wow.
I mean,
itulah.
And but God is Tuhan tu kaya, and He knows what is best for you. I always say that. Yeah. So you kena tawakal. You got to do what you think is best, and you hope, you doa lah,
Yeah.
that eventually God will give you the right way, show you the right way.
Wow, the magnitude of sacrifice yang Tan Sri bagi kepada negara, wah, that is very
personal
inspiring,
sacrifice.
definitely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, now Tan
Now
Sri
they want to
mungkin
know about
perubahan iklim, perubahan iklim. So mungkin, okay, Tan Sri tadi ada bagi tahu tentang astronomi dan apa teknologi yang berguna kepada kita, komunikasi lah, semua yang lain lah. So probably Tan Sri, kalau dalam sebab perubahan iklim ni, Tan Sri, perubahan iklim ni saya boleh cakap sikit lah because that is my field.
Of course.
Yeah. Perubahan iklim ni is, kalau saya boleh cakap lah Tan Sri.
You can give half of the lecture, tak ada masalah.
Perubahan iklim ni is the biggest problem lah that we are now facing. Sebab dia bukan saja tentang iklim, dia merentas kepada macam-macam sektor yang lain. So it is one, I would say probably the biggest problem lah yang satu dunia perlu menangani. So sekarang ini kita mungkin Tan Sri juga boleh berkongsi how astronomy is related to perubahan iklim or how astronomy can contribute to perubahan iklim punya isu lah.
So you're right. The climate change is what we call the defining challenge of the future. Why is defining? You don't solve climate change problem. We all have to go with Elon Musk to Mars. That is the essence of my subject today.
Yeah.
But then, okay, can we? And it will also answer the question you asked before. Kenapa kita nak belajar astronomi ini? What use is it?
Yeah.
Kan? But today I'm going to prove to you that our knowledge of astronomy is what is going to, and space technology is what is going to help you solve climate change problems. You see, so it's not useless. Astronomy is not useless. Because here I'm going to give you the context in terms of climate change. Ada konteks banyak lagi ya. As I said, military lah, agriculture, macam-macam. But let's talk about climate change. Is there somebody who can help me with the?
Okay.
Oh yes. So while my slides are in English, but we'll speak both English and Malay, and then you all will ask me questions in English and Malay. We've been doing that anyway. Okay, so now it's already almost 10 o'clock. We're supposed to finish by 11. Okay, I'll try and do this quickly.
We still have 1 hour.
Yes, okay. So, but you see that I'm interspersing it with beautiful pictures. This is a picture taken by the James Webb telescope. So if you want to inspire yourself to reinforce your belief in God and in the creation of the universe by an infinite force, you go to the James Webb telescope pictures or the Hubble Space Telescope pictures. You will convince yourself who created this. So there you are. It's one of the most beautiful pictures that we've seen. Now we can see the structure of the universe. So every time you see these pictures from time to time, works. So I will talk about 3 things. One is our expert is here. He will support me. What do we have in terms of evidence for climate change? And what is the evidence for impacts? We have already impacts because orang ramai tak percaya that there is already climate change, especially the people who can contribute like the Americans. They tak percaya. And then how? There's a question we have today, how astronomy contributes to this climate change studies. And then that one is astronomy, but I'm going to also talk to you about space technology, because we are into space technology because of our love for astronomy. And so you cannot separate the two. Okay, now let's talk about the evidence for climate change very quickly. Nak tunjuk video ni?
Klik sana. Okay.
There is a video that shows the temperature. You see this from 1886, I think. There. The dates up there, Ramzah. The dates are up there. It shows you how the Earth is heating up. And you got this information in the past is from real measurements on Earth, but later on it's all satellite pictures and satellite information. But you see how the Earth is getting very, very hot. So I don't know how the people who say there is no global warming can can deny this. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. So there's lots of videos YouTube. Not on TikTok, tapi sampai TikTok pun jumpa juga. Okay, that is the evidence for climate change. No, and then ada macam-macam lah, you know kan, how they depict this. They show you the increase per year and whatnot. So let me see what's the next one that I have for evidence for climate change. So that is so macam-macam you boleh tengok on in internet. But so what are the impacts of climate change? They're obvious. One is the global, the sea level rise. Again here, okay. Now this is why...
Ada suara?
I think this one tak ada suara.
Tak ada suara, okay.
But you will see, maybe ada suara. But you see all this is, yes, yeah. So you see, see at the bottom here is the level, sea level rise, yeah?
Yeah.
And you see this going up. And you will also see the year there and how the sea level. So you have two visual depictions here. One is by the numbers, which we scientists love. We love numbers. And scientists will only be convinced about this, but you have to convince the sociologists using this. So this is about science communication. And NASA does it so well. So you see that the impact of climate change. And then if you go to internet, you'll see whether your kampung will be, maybe not that level your kampung yet, will be flooded or not. But you know, most of the islands in the South Pacific, they'll all disappear sooner or later. So you can see that the sea level rise. But there are all these models. Of course, we scientists, we love modeling, and these are all the different models. Okay, so this is another evidence of the impact of climate change that you cannot deny. Okay, the next impact is about the next slide.
Next one.
The one is agriculture. No, not this one. The next slide ada agriculture. Oh, sorry. Okay, about food security. You like all your food and all that. You have a big problem because of climate change. And
we're already feeling the effects of climate change. Intense heat waves, longer fire seasons, droughts and floods. The impacts of a warmer planet are all around us. And as global temperatures continue to rise, we'll experience even more changes to our planet. New NASA research suggests that with high greenhouse gas emissions, we'll see declines in global crop yields for maize, corn, as early as 2030. Shifting rainfall patterns, higher temperatures, and increased atmospheric carbon levels are likely to affect where and how much of stable crops like corn, soybeans, wheat, and rice can be grown. Using multiple highly accurate supercomputer models, researchers projected future global conditions based on greenhouse gas emissions. They ran these results through models that simulate how crops respond to changes in things like rainfall, temperatures, and atmospheric carbon dioxide. By using multiple computer models, the teams could compare results and be more confident in what they learned. Overall, corn and wheat showed the clearest results. By 2069 through 2099, global corn crop yields could decrease 24%. Corn is grown around the world, with large quantities grown in countries close to the equator. Rising temperatures in this region will put stress on those plants, leading to lower crop yields.
See that? See? That's our region.
Wheat, on the other hand, grows mostly in more temperate regions, like the northern US and Canada, North China Plains, Central Asia, Southern Australia, Europe, and Russia. Warmer global temperatures and higher atmospheric carbon dioxide could increase wheat crop yields up to 17%. However, these increases will likely level off by 2050 or so.
Here, I just want to demonstrate how bad the situation is in terms of your food. So if you're not interested in how hot you're going to be, you've got to be interested because it's your food. Okay, then the next one, slide. The next one is about what I just talked about, floods just now, the extreme weather. Now, this is very, very bad right now in terms of the climate change and all the extreme weather. I think this is 2 minutes, but we don't need to
climate change.
All of this.
A team of researchers recently published a study in the journal Environmental Research, Climate. It looks at the role climate change has played in individual weather events over the past 2 decades.
All these typhoons.
Here are its main
yeah.
findings. It's highly probable that climate change
Heat
is making
waves.
heat waves worse. An April heat wave saw temperatures climb above 122 Fahrenheit in India and Pakistan. Ben Clark is a doctoral candidate from the University of Oxford.
But even this does not
We know
convince
that pretty
some
much all heat
politicians
waves across the
that
world
climate change
have
is
been made
okay, we can
more
stop.
intense and more likely by climate change.
Stop. Okay. So now, now I want to relate what is astronomy contributing to the studies on climate change. So here I'm going to look at what we have found in space and how we can use that knowledge for predicting what will happen to us if we allow temperatures to increase, or it will allow us to think what happened in the past, So if there was water, what happened to the water? And then you will also think, so if the same happened to Earth, if it became so hot and the water disappears, what will happen to us? So these are the questions that we can predict will happen if we did not take care of climate change. So the first one I'm going to look at is Venus. Venus, is called the goddess of love, and the skies in Sabah are still very dark. So you're very lucky you can still see the night sky. So I want to show you, can you show the video of Venus?
Pasang video.
This is Venus as seen through your telescope. It has usually no features. But what we have done is we've used radar to map the Venus itself, and you can see the different levels and all that. So this video will show you what the planet looks like, and later I'll show you where water used to be on Venus. I think that's all okay, I think we can stop there. So the next thing is for you to see that Venus is very hot. It is almost 500 degrees centigrade. So anything there will melt, your handphone will melt. In fact, the reason why you need to use radar is because we cannot land on Venus. I think the Russians, they landed something there, it just melted within a few hours, But we know that life cannot exist on Venus. And so this is about some facts about Venus, which you can get as well if you go to the internet. But then, now I want to show you that Venus is mainly consisting of carbon dioxide. And a lot of it and sulfur dioxide, for instance. So if you compare, you all kat belakang tak nampak, Venus and the Earth. So Venus is mainly carbon dioxide. Kita ada juga carbon dioxide. Of course, that is our problem right now, but very small. But even then, it's a problem. But what Venus will tell you is how bad will the problem be if you allow the carbon dioxide to build up. And so the more you study Venus, the more you will understand what happens when there is global warming. And I think some scientists will tell you that there are phenomena in nature which we call tipping point. If you reach a certain tipping point in nature, it cannot go back again. So it will be what we call a runaway event. And so we think that sometime in the past of Venus, there was a point that it reached a tipping point for carbon dioxide, and then it is what we call positive feedback. And so it just increased, and that's what happened to Venus until today. And so what we did was we kept studying Venus. So as I said, we know from our studies that it used to be Earth-like. And this is the bad news, that something happened to Venus, although it used to be like Earth. And that, so for some reason, about 1 billion years ago, the climate changed, or what I call the runaway greenhouse effect. And because it's so hot, all the water evaporated. You know that you cannot live without water. In fact, the only way you want to find life out there in the universe is to look for water. If you find water on any planet, then you know that there are chances life will exist. And so, and we know that there was water. See, this is not the whole of Venus, but some parts of Venus that showed that water used to flow. And from there, we've got to keep studying to see why is it that from there's water, jadi tak ada air. Why? Is that going to happen to Earth as well? And then, but we also know that Venus has lots of volcanoes, and we know that in the past there's been big mass extinctions of species, and we think part of it was because of the volcanoes that all over the Earth started to be agitated, and there was volcanic eruptions everywhere. And so this would also, as I said, another one that causes a runaway event and makes climate change happen. So would such the same runaway event happen here on Earth? So a person who's studying climate change will also have to look in the future, what are these possibilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so as they say that there is water on Venus, and this is what Venus would have looked like if it still had its water. And so, but this is of course an artistic simulation done by NASA. So from our study of astronomy, which is purely astronomy, because we are interested in Venus, we are able to model what it used to look like, and therefore would such a similar phenomena occur on Earth. And this has much impact on our knowledge. Now the next planet that I'm going to look at in terms of studying in terms of astronomy and what it can tell us in terms of climate change is Mars. See that this is what, the Grand Canyon in the US? Hebat kan, some of you been there. Now, this is the Grand Canyon on Mars. If I put this Grand Canyon and lay it on the Earth, Mars is smaller than the Earth. If I put it on the Earth, it will cover from the west coast of the US right to the east coast of the US. So I can draw a map of the US in here, like that. This is how fantastic this feature is. And dalam dia berpuluh-puluh kilometer. Now you know why Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, because we want to explore this. And also, I love mountains. And Olympus Mons, which is a volcano, is already extinct, is 25 kilometers high. Everest is about 8 kilometers. But we have been mapping it, and we have, in fact, made a path. You can go to the peak of Olympus Mons. Well, that's my dream, to climb Olympus Mons. Not so much this Grand Canyon. But anyway, so that's Mars. So we are interested in Mars. But how does the study of Mars contribute to our knowledge of climate change? And now, as I said, Mars is very small, but its atmosphere is very thin. So we know, but it has, okay, I want to show you, it has ice. And so I told you, you want to find life, you find water. Look at all that ice on Mars. So scientists are excited to find life on Mars because we think life can exist because of the water. Can we put on the video? Because I want to show about the. So this is our, okay. this is the feature of Mars that we see today. I don't know whether you can speed it up. It's only a few, less than 1 minute, I think. But I want to show the features that show there was running water. I don't think we have time. I think we can stop. We can stop the one, and I go to the next slide, because now we don't have time. Huh? Okay. Okay. Now, because I wanted to show part of this. This is the ice on Mars. Now, if this melts, then life can occur here. And that's why we are excited about going to Mars. And there are further evidence that there's water running down. See this? Seasonally, water is running down. That's all on Mars. You all can't see. And you see that there's water. It's like you look at the Earth, can? There's this, all this erosion features. And so we know that even though Mars is very cold, there's water underneath. And if we can get that water out, then you and I can live on Mars and create a new climate and a new environment on Mars. So that's why we love Mars, because Mars has so much to offer us. Okay, then now we talk about robots. We are afraid of robots, but the only way we can conquer the universe is through robots. Not like you and I going, because tak boleh tahan tu lah, tak boleh tahan ni lah kita kan. But the robots, they will survive. So I wanted to show this beautiful picture of this robot. And this robot actually had, on September 16, detected a few days ago some organic material. So again, you have water, you have organic material. What are the chances you will have life? Very high. And that's why Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. Okay, now, I promised you that, okay, so but there are other things. So this is a direct relationship between what you know of astronomy on how you are going to think about your climate change problems. Now I want to talk about space technology, how space technology will actually contribute to climate change. Now, you know, I'm sure you all see a picture of the Earth, the hanging, you know, on there's a blue planet. I don't see it here. But you see there's a blue planet with sometimes Africa, la, US. Where do you think that picture was taken from? From space. So the first time that we left Earth far enough to take that picture, that is very evident that we all live on a planet. And since then, it's only on the space platforms that you can look at any problem at the planetary level. I mean, people will tell you, if you want to solve problems with this food security, water, energy, climate change, you have to look at these issues at a planetary level. Maknanya you look at it from the planet's point of view, not from Sabah saja, because whatever, it's not enough to look at Sabah. It's not enough to look at just America. We have to be citizens of the world, and we have to look at these problems at a planet level. And anything at all, you have to go to space to look at things at the planetary level. Okay, poverty and all that, there are issues. I never deny that, but there are so we are talking about climate change. So these are just an example of all the satellites that have been studying the Earth. There's CloudSat, Calypso, all of Landsat. I'm sure any of you here who has done some degree, you would know about Landsat, because Landsat was where you got your pictures. When you go to Google Maps, you get those pictures from Landsat and others. So the only way for you to look at Earth as a planet is if you can go to space. And we have as a civilization, I'm talking about as a civilization now, that is one of our biggest success, that we managed to go to space, and now we understand the Earth as a planet. Of course, we are jealous that it was the US who did this, but no, the impact is on us as a civilization. Because when I say civilization, I mean the human race civilization, and that means all of us. And so this, of course, these are just climate change. Of course, impacts astronomical observation because the climate is changing in the mountains. So we're not getting good results anymore because the atmospheres are not stable anymore. So, and that's why we go into space to do astronomy. So the fact is, climate. Well, you're asking how we learn about climate change through astronomy. Unfortunately, climate change actually is bad for astronomy. Not only bad for you, but then I want to also tell you that space technologies is vital. In fact, kalaulah the US or Europe stops investing, they don't kat sana tu. They're making noise there.
Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
You're making noise, please. Thank you. If the Americans and the Europeans stop investing in sending out these satellites, you and I will be in big trouble. Why? Because we cannot predict the weather anymore.
Yeah.
You know, where they say tomorrow hujan ke tak hujan ke, there's a typhoon coming. It's all to do with space technology. So we have to encourage these countries to keep investing in space technology, to come up with innovation, how to make measurements and all that. So that is essential. We have to keep investing in space technology if we want to continue to exist as a species on Earth. If you don't, Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk says we have to leave the Earth. But that's next story. Yeah? But now is how space technology gives us information on climate change. One is through meteorology, you know this. The other is we are measuring the soil and all that.
Yeah.
As I said, if you're an agriculturalist, you are depending on this. Bila you nak tanam, bila your crops and all that. Then the other one is we have got lots of data on the clouds. We also have water. We can look for water supply. One of the most exciting project I had when I was in the UN was to help Africa look for water sources. Now, why is water source so, and in the context of what, you know, in the context of space for women. We were trying to find how space benefits women. And then in Africa, the people who are looking for water for cooking, for hygiene and all that, are the women. And so if we can help the women to source, to see where the water sources are, you are in fact helping women. Because I can't remember the statistics now. 80% done by women, you know. And so in that project, Space for Women, one of the things I did was to look for sources in those villages where they had to walk sometimes the whole day just to look for water. Bawa, you tahu gambar itu water on their heads tu, it's for real, sampai hari ini. And so if we can help them shorten their journey, because there's another water source somewhere else which nobody knew about, or they tak tahu ada some underground. So that was what we thought would help women. Of course, it's also help everybody lah, because we're helping women. A water source. And then this one here is about we have communications, blah blah blah. You know, I mean, you want to talk about the geysers. I mean, the glaciers.
The glaciers.
You have to study the glaciers. So kalau you nak ada some communication, from the glacier or from the North Pole or from the South Pole, you have to use satellite services. Here you have a choice. Your service provider will decide whether it's going to be satellite or not. But if you are in the poles and in Antarctica, you have to use satellite. So these are space technologies definitely for climate action. But not only space technology up there is going to help you get data to help you solve climate change problems or convince people, but space technology itself can help with how to mitigate. So we have sensors. I told you the spin-offs from space for reducing emissions and to support changing lifestyles. to support changing lifestyles. I don't think my mic is on. Something wrong?
Tan Sri punya mic masih boleh.
To support changing lifestyles means that you have to go from A to B. You have to go by the fastest way. You know, your Waze will tell you this one takes you the shortest time. It is very important. Why? Because if all of us goes the shortest, most efficient way, you save your carbon emissions.
Yeah.
So it is a way of changing your lifestyle, and then renewable energy. Space for renewable energy. So ini pun macam-macam juga. But I want to give you one example where space technology can be used for getting renewable energy. And I think this is, so if you look at carbon dioxide emissions in terms of climate change, because that's the biggest one contributing to the climate change, almost 50% or 44% is due to the fact that we have to generate electricity. Of course, for the Europeans, it's for heating. But look at us now. Who is generating this electricity? All the time. You know, if you want to be an advanced country, you must have lots of energy. In fact, the way we astronomers have classified civilizations is how they use, how much energy they use. So the higher the energy used, we can correlate it to the higher civilization, and we have proof. So that's how when later I'm doing a series on how to find life in space. So one way to look for life in space is to look for technology, and if we look for technology, the highest use of energy is where the highest civilizations will be. This is a theory, but anyway, the point is 44% is for electricity generation. And space can solve this because we can have solar power plants in space. So this is a very nice video because it will take you to the future. And we were talking about 3D printing, semua ni, this will be demonstrated. Can you show the video?
Tunjuk video.
This one, I think, it's only 10:30, so 10:22. So we can show this video in full.
Sure.
Yeah, because these are young people here. They are the ones who will see this in the future, this technology in the future. This technology is, all the technologies that we are seeing is already there. There's nothing new there. The only problem is political.
Oh, dia tidak ada hyperlink ya?
Tak ada hyperlink. Sorry, I thought we resolved that.
Hello everyone, welcome to GK Today. Today's topic is China's proposal of space solar plant. So let's start the video. Recently, China proposed a plan to launch a solar power plant in
I had another one, No? Because I don't know whether this has the 3D printing or not. Anyway, try again. Is it?
Cuba lagi.
This is the one, this is the one. This one, here. Yang ini, ya? I had two. Don't know whether we can.
Mungkin sini. Probably
this one.
Cuba yang ini. Maybe that's,
this is the UK one.
Down from.
Even the UK one, I think no, it's not the right one. Sorry. But what I wanted to demonstrate was, you can stop this. But what the first video was about China building a solar power plant in space. This one is about UK, I think. Yeah, this is a UK view on how it will happen. Okay, just go to the first one then. Although I don't think it's the right one. The China one. Because this, my phone is not here. This China one is not quite the right one. Can you speed up or not? I want to see. Speed up
let's
lagi.
start.
Speed up lagi.
Capacity will know
Lagi.
some facts about this.
No, it's not the right one because I want to
It
show
will
you the 3D
convert
printing
solar
in space.
energy to micro of few
It-
houses.
Keep
Maybe
going.
in the later
And
part of
if we
this
talk
video.
about testing facility,
No,
Solar
there's
power.
no
Oh,
energy
okay.
the
project
idea of
was
how
proposed
to
by
build it.
NASA
So maybe I will just explain to
but
you.
was never developed.
I think you
Now,
can
United
you
Kingdom
can
government is
understand or you can follow that. Well, one of the best renewable energy source is the sun. We are getting what 0.001% over the whole Earth of the sun that we are using for energy. And obviously, we want more of it. Yeah? But then we have day and night. So there's a time when, that's why we need batteries. We have a big problem with batteries because of the night thing. Now, so the solution is, of course, to go up into space where there is no night. That you are above the eclipsing of the eclipse of the Earth, and we know that we can, if we go up to about 36,000 kilometers, you see the sun all the time, but it is also a very special orbit where if you look at the satellite or the object, it will rotate at the same rate as the Earth is rotating. This is why we call it geostationary orbit, and this is why you look at your Measat, your TV, and you only look at one point. You only it's fixed. Whereas the Earth is moving and the satellite is also moving. So it's a very special orbit called the geostationary satellite. So if you had one of these stations and you can generate enough energy there, you can beam this energy down. And it's on above you all the time. So you don't have to worry suddenly your energy source goes to Africa, goes to the UK. So it's your source of energy. But I said that the technology that we have actually today is all there. We can already set this up. But the problem is political, you know. One is that the orbit is a very congested orbit already as it is. So to put a solar plant there might not be the answer, but will affect all the other planets, the other satellites. But the other is the environmental impact. Some people say that by beaming this energy down, you might kill birds, and how will it affect other things, you know, like aeroplanes and whatnot. So there's this video, very short video, but unfortunately I have the wrong link there. So then you will ask me, so how are we going to build this power plant? And you think that we have to bring all these things up to space, one by one, you know. So the solution to that is have what we call 3D printers in space.
Yeah.
So we will 3D print every one of these, of these ones here, of the solar panels. And then we will assemble, and robots will print. They have the 3D printer. Robots will then put them together and build the solar power plant. So that is definitely the way of the future. We cannot continue to, we will run out of our energy resources, of your fossil fuel, sooner or later. Yeah. In about 100 years or 200 years, we will no longer be able to use fossil fuels. And we have to use renewable. And even the sun will not be enough. You imagine Africa is now, if you look at all the foresight, the forecast for what are the areas that are the future growth in the world, it's Africa. So if you have a company that is not already operating in Africa, you'll be way behind. So I'm telling you, the secret is that the future in terms of population growth and also demand. When there is population growth, there's going to be demand for consumerism. When there's demand for consumer products, then there's place for factories and all that. And at the base of all of that is what? You need more energy. So Africa is going to need more energy, and we cannot go on like this. And so this is one of the solutions. So you can imagine that over Africa, but solar energy on Earth is not solving the problem right now. There are many issues. The day and night issue, that's one. And the other is we don't have places large enough on Earth to do all of this. But we don't care if we take large areas in space, kan? And so the solution to the renewable energy is using this solar power plant. And of course, again, I'm just giving you an idea of how we see civilizations. We see civilizations in the future, not on Earth, but civilizations on other planets where they are so technologically advanced, they are already getting solar, building the solar power plants in space, and actually, because their energy requirement is so large, it will cover almost their whole sun, their whole star. And one way to look for that kind of civilization, which we call category 3 civilization in the universe, is to look for stars that look funny, that have strange characteristics. And if we can, we want to look and see whether we can find technology features like this. But what I'm saying is that, we astronomers, we always look thousands of years into the future. Millions tu sikit sangat, too small. For me, I'm looking billions of years to the future. What will happen to the sun, What will happen to you? What will happen to our civilization? And so now, so that's why if you look at the thinkers that matter a lot to the public, they're always thinking of the future. And so this is the one. So I would like to close by saying that we are actually, as a human race, losing all the options. It looks like we will come to a tipping point where the Earth will no longer be habitable. Maybe not now, maybe 100 years, maybe 200 years. So Stephen Hawking, I'm sure a lot of you admire Stephen Hawking, and he's one of those thinkers. He's saying, if humanity, we as a human race living on this planet, we want to persist for another 1,000,000 years, then we have to do things that are bold, And one of his ideas is that we have to go to space, solve the problems in space. And that's why somebody like Elon Musk has great ambitions for the human race. And I want to show this, what he talks about the future,
Suara?
Ada.
There's likely to be, we don't know, but there's likely to be another Dark Ages, which it seems, my guess is there probably will be at some point. I'm not predicting that we're about to enter Dark Ages, but that there's some probability that we will, particularly if there's a Third World War. Then we want to make sure that there's enough of a seed of human civilization somewhere else to bring civilization back, and perhaps shorten the length of the Dark Ages. I think that's why it's important to get a self-sustaining base, ideally on Mars, because Mars is far enough away from Earth that a war on Earth, the Mars base might survive. It's more likely to survive than a moon base. But I think a moon base and a Mars base that could perhaps help regenerate life back here on Earth would be really important, and to get that done before a possible World War III. What I know currently is the case is that we are building the first ship, the first Mars
Somebody here will
or
be on this ship.
interplanetary ship.
Yeah, I can see
right
a
now.
lot of
I
young
think
people.
we'll
Then
be
the
able to do
6-year-olds in
short
belakang tu.
flights, short
One
up
of
and down
them
flights.
will be on this
Will
ship.
be in that
Probably
one.
sometime in the first half of next year. I mean, the moon of Mars is often thought of as like, is this some escape hatch for rich people?
hatch
But
for rich people?
it won't be that at all.
So there you have, some people who, I think NASA also will go back to the moon, is building its big rocket. Elon Musk tak nak main-main pergi bulan. We've been there, done it. So why bother? Dia nak pergi Mars, of course. And his plan actually is to land on Mars by about 5 years ago. He said 2024. Which is only another 2 years from now. I think he may not meet it. It may be like 25 or 26. In comparison, NASA punya prediction is that they will land on Mars in 2034. So you see, in terms of planning, government planning and private sector planning,
yeah.
Elon Musk will come to Mars. Even though he's late, he's not going to be as late as NASA. And so my money is still on Elon Musk. But my point is, we have people in this room who will not only be on Mars, but for sure will be able to communicate with somebody who is on Mars. So either you tengok TV and this person is speaking from Mars, or you may have a friend, they're lucky enough to be part of this international group of people, international group of astronauts who go there. They might write, he might be your friend and writes back to you. But somebody in this room will have a direct relationship to Mars. It's not in my lifetime that these things happen, but people like me have to set it up so that those people at the back there will get to Mars. And I think getting to Mars is not necessarily because we want to escape extinction on Earth. Also because there is this idea that we need to be a multi-planetary species. So that it's a human nature, I think, to always find out what is, to go when people have never been before. Like me going to Malaya Basin, nobody has ever been before. I had to go to Malaya Basin, that kind of thing, you know. So there's always in some of us this desire to do something unusual. So if somebody walked in there and told me, Mazlan, let's go to Mars now, and maybe you won't come back because of technical problems, I have no problems. No? I will go and follow. Hopefully it's Elon Musk, because my philosophy is you have to die of something, you know. So you might as well die serving humanity, right? So I'll see you there on Mars.
Okay, terima kasih Tan Sri. I think that is a very comprehensive presentation. Saya ni climatologist tau. All this while, I know that astronomy has its own contribution to climate change, but I thought that it is only because of the satellite. Because that satellite, actually, that is the one that provide more accurate and more convincing punya measurement of the sea surface temperature and everything. Untuk actually kan Tan Sri, global warming, the idea of global warming was first mooted in the 30s, last century. But nobody by someone named Guy Calendar lah, dia tengok semua cerapan-cerapan suhu di seluruh dunia, lepas tu dia buat comparison and trend dan nampak macam dia naik. But nobody is convinced because you know that type of data kan, ambil sana ambil sini.
Yes, and then
it is
too
unreliable,
many gaps.
Exactly. And then come this technology satellite, and then only then people start taking climate change seriously. So memang astronomi ada, tapi rupanya sumbangan dia itu lebih besar daripada itu. Not only to help climate change studies, but also to mitigate it,
yes.
And also to provide future solution for it. So kesimpulan paling besar daripada Tan Sri Mazlan tadi adalah climate change adalah ibu kepada segala masalah dunia, dan astronomi adalah penyelesaian kepada ibu masalah ini. Ibu penyelesaian. So basically, saya harap Tan Sri, we will have
question time.
Question time.
Hour, I think,
we have half an hour.
20 minutes,
Question. Soalan adik-adik boleh tanya. Takkanlah satu orang pun tidak mau.
Who wants to go to Mars?
Ya. Adik ni mau tanya kah? Bagi diorang mic kalau ada mau. Ada pertanyaan adik-adik? Okey, Dr. Afifuddin.
Yes, my UKM.
Bagi mic kepada Dr. Afifuddin. Tanyalah, bukan senang mau bawa Tan Sri datang ke sini tahu, kan?
Assalamualaikum, Tan Sri. Okey, saya Afifuddin dari UKM. Tahniah UMS dan USAIN kerana menganjurkan program macam ni. Tan Sri, soalan saya pertama, bila kita discuss astronomi dengan perubahan iklim, banyak Tan Sri discuss berkaitan dengan space technology apa semua. Expertise Tan Sri, saya pernah attend Tan Sri punya talk asteroid economic, macam mana kita develop countries start explore macam mana asteroid sebagai new space economics. Jadi dari segi di mana kita, bila kita boleh tengok dari segi space economy, dari segi benda-benda yang di luar space, dan macam mana impact space tu sendiri, dalam konteks kita punya climate change pertama, dan kedua dalam konteks kita punya ekonomi. Macam kita kata dari segi astronomi, perubahan iklim, dekat Malaysia kita cerita pasal masalah je, tapi kita tak banyak discuss pasal solution yang macam mana kita boleh generate income. Dan soalan kedua, kita dah ada platform apa semua, macam mana kita mungkin kita nak increase awareness kita punya adik-adik apa semua, supaya bila kita tengok space, dia bukan ISS, bukan Syekh Muzaffar saja. Kita tengok dalam konteks yang lagi besar. Macam mana kita nak, macam Dr. Ramzah kata, semua masalah global sekarang sebab kita tak faham konteks astronomi dan perubahan iklim. Macam mana kita nak bridge the gap? Thank you, Dr. Tan Sri.
Okay, I'll answer this quickly. The first is about the economics of space. And I tak cover langsung because that's should be another lecture. But as we expand into space, it will become an economic arena. Now it is already an economic arena because there are so many companies that build satellites, there's so many companies that use the applications, navigation, all that. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry already, without anything new. Okay, so what is new? What is new is that you want to explore further out. A lot of space scientists, even politicians, feel that we are too confined. Dah terlalu lama, since 1957, the first Sputnik tu sampai hari ni, we are still confined to a very shallow part of space. We have to get out. Now, once you get that moon station, for instance, we have what we call a situation where they start mining on the moon, and so then all that economics is how are you, macam sekarang we have big barge carrying petrol from one country to another using the sea and whatnot. So that economics has to happen. What is it that we're going to mine the moon? One of the best ideas I see is to mine for helium-3, which is part of fusion, not fission, fusion. To make fusion happen, helium-3 is best, and apparently there's lots of it on the moon. So we want to mine for helium-3, for instance. We don't want to mine for minerals. And so there will be this economics. So are you going to set up a company that takes rockets up and down, bringing helium-3 up? Are you going to, some of you you have a career in becoming a moon mining engineer? All kinds of things. And so that is that we call it the cislunar economy. And then if we go to Mars, as I always hope we will, there will be again some new economics there. And Elon Musk, of course, wants about 1 million people there. Still, it's too few, but still, there has to be a services there, service industry there. And kalau you ada service industry, you ada entertainment industry, so diorang yang I suruh main music tu boleh pergi ke Mars, pergi main music. So there's I showed you that habitat of Mars. The league, you can be a space lawyer on Mars or whatever. You can be a journalist on Mars. So there's all that sector. But the biggest economic sector ever that's being mentioned and Malaysia does pay attention to it, is the mining of asteroids.
Oh, my.
Asteroids are those rocks that are orbiting the sun. And from time to time, you might hear on the news that one of these might impact the Earth and other calamity and all these disasters. But these rocks actually contain very, very incredible amounts of all the minerals that are very necessary today. You know that they say that eventually we have to run out of handphones. Why? Because the minerals that you require, which is an essential part of the handphone, might run out. So where are we going to get them? You know, so you have to have like Dr. Ramzah always talks about innovation. Maybe you have innovation and have another type of handphone, but we are fast running out of what we call those trace minerals. They call trace minerals because there are very little of them. But there are lots of them in all the rocks of the solar system. So I'm told by some people, very ambitious and very optimistic people, that to be the next, kalau dia trillionaire, we're going to get a trillionaire. I think kita dah ada trillionaire, tak? Kita dah ada millionaire tu ramai, billionaire tu dah ramai. Soon we have a trillionaire. I think Elon Musk is already a trillionaire. So to go the next step up, which is a quadrillionaire, something like that, that one you can achieve if you go into asteroid mining. It's like gold mining. You know, people who got very, very rich through gold mining. People can also get rich through asteroid mining. So we thought, and then the US is already formulating laws that allow us to do that. Europe, UAE, you know, they're all doing that. But Malaysia missed the chance that when we had our new law, recently we had this act, Space Board Act or something like that, if we are following it, it is not futuristic enough, you know. This act is very ke belakang, you know, looking back, dia tihu-tihu, yang UK punya, yang Holland punya. But these are old acts because they have historical baggage.
Yeah.
We don't have historical baggage. We must look into the future. What are the future opportunities? And our laws should reflect that, should reflect the future rather than the past. But as I said, we missed that chance. Whoever wrote that act was not futuristic enough. So, okay lah, I have my views on political. Yeah? But yeah, and that's because kita tak cukup knowledge on what is the future in space. So we're always looking back, tengok baca-baca, and then masukkan dalam that law. And this is where the pursuit of knowledge is so important. And not just knowledge, but frontier knowledge.
Frontier knowledge.
Don't just look at knowledge you dah baca dalam textbook. Old-fashioned already, it's done. Whatever is in your textbook is done. You know, you have to go beyond what's in your textbook. That is what's going to win you the Nobel Prize, not reading the textbook. Of course, reading the textbook will make you an expert, but to go into the future, to serve the nation, to serve the world, you must go beyond your textbooks. So that is the economics. So the second question is not panjang question dia. What was the question on?
The question is, okay, dia cakap, everyone knows that, you know, we have this climate change punya problem, and we also have the solution from the astronomy, but what is next? Because it seems that probably he is talking about in terms of policy making,
yes,
atau
in
to
Malaysia.
put in a practical.
Yeah. Well, I maybe partly answered that. I think Malaysia has not done enough.
No.
What we think we could have done, but we missed the opportunity. We haven't launched, the last time when I was head of the space agency, 2004, I commissioned the building of Razak Sat.
Right.
And since then, we have not commissioned any satellite to be built. 2004. Tengok orang muda-muda sini semua, they are waiting, you know, what satellite are we building? Can I have a space career? If I have aerospace engineering, can I contribute to our space industry? Nobody can answer this question right now, because we don't even have an industry. We have a program, but no industry.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of having the act is that so that we will support an industry, a space industry. But I don't think we are able to do that for a while. Because whether you like it or not, so what is next? When people say space industry is very commercialized, only up to a point. If you look at all the innovation, it is still still through government investment.
Yeah.
If you look at India, for sure, you know, like this all government. Even though they built some companies, but it's always to use technology invented through government. China pun, and US. I tell you, US, their program is very heavily dependent on government investment. Why? You know, Elon Musk built his rockets, and he kept failing, you know, and he had money, deep pocket, but not deep enough. So when he had certain ideas, NASA came up with 500 million. And that's how Elon Musk is successful today. So again, he's a private sector man. And you think that all the investment would have been private sector investment. No. Much of his success today is because he got investment through NASA. Kalau you tengok Boeing, all these companies, if NASA or the military is not investing in new satellites and new rockets, they also have no business. Because who else wants a rocket? You won't put in an order for rocket. Neither would UMS.
Yeah.
It's governments that order rockets, you know. So I keep telling that despite all this hype you hear that space is now all commercial, is only the half truth. It's not the full truth. Governments must still invest. But now we as government, kita kena pandai lah how to invest, where to invest, when to invest, what to invest. Ada policy sahaja tak cukup, you know. So we need to, as I said, have that frontier knowledge. We have what we call space tourism. Now our act doesn't cover space tourism. No. So, but of course that is the way of the future, space tourism. So we have missed some opportunities, but I hope we will catch up. But as I said, like as good example, because it's already public knowledge. Apa yang tak public knowledge, I cannot tell you lah. Like UAE, when they started, when they had the space agency, and they wanted to set up a space program, they consulted with a few people, and I happened to be in that group of consultants. We told them that you have the benefit of the future. You have no past. So you have to be futuristic, and that's so. Whereas the Americans have to keep going, amend their law. You know, you don't have to. You put a new law that covers all these new innovative things of the future, and that's what UAE did. They have somewhere that they can manage space tourism. Space exploitation and all that, not through writing details, but through the spirit of the law. Now, this is important, that when you come up with a new act, you have to be clear on what is the spirit of that law. What do you want to achieve? Again, this is a criticism, but apa?
Saya setuju Tarikh.
Yes. So it's almost 11, I think.
Yeah. One more question. Mana adik-adik sekolah kita? Tanyalah. Dua lagi. 2 minit. Okey.
2 minit, satu soalan saja.
Satu soalan.
We are
Kita ada 10 minit lagi ni sebelum
we
pergi
are
11.
10:54. You have one
Satu
last
soalan.
question.
One last question. Adik-adik ada soalan?
We can ask, let him
Okay,
ask a question.
ada di sini.
And
Okay,
then hopefully
please.
somebody.
Ada sana? Ada sana? Okay. So hello, Tan Sri. Nice to meet you. Okay, so my name is Azel from Petroscience.
I see you sitting there.
Yeah, I'm one of the science communicator from Petroscience lah. So my question is, years ago, human race is racing to develop new source of power, right? So this source of power is a new energy source, for example, nuclear.
Okay, I think I hear you, but you think you can remove your mask that we can... Yes, okay.
Jadi kan dulu bertahun-tahun orang cuba mencari sumber kuasa ni, dan salah satu sumber kuasa baru ni nuklear lah kan. So orang bilang, with great power comes with great responsibility, right? So ini termasuk dengan climate change lah. Kalau solar power lah kan, Tan Sri, apakah the greatest responsibility yang human race bakal hadapi?
Okay, so the responsibility there is the reason why you have a solar power plant in space is that you have to maximize your renewable energy. But on the other hand, the responsibility is how do you transmit that the energy. And so there's a lot of environmental impact studies that need to be done. As I said, birds might get fried because they lalu through that beam. But I've been told by engineers, no, the beam is not very strong because you can have collectors. So I nak tunjuk gambar tadi, the collectors. So the collectors will then focus the light again. But the light, the beam coming down is actually not very energetic. You have to have big collectors to make it to get the energy back again. So, but the responsibility is the environmental impact, and the responsibility is also that if you have all that energy, and it might be a lot of energy that you can generate, should you also not share this energy? Like when we bring asteroids, the samples, are we not going to share? There's a big issue on the law of space, whether or not you are allowed to bring it back, or should you be sharing it with the rest of humanity? So same with solar energy. What will be our responsibility as a human race? Because space is the common province of all humankind. Ini termaktub dalam the space law under the United Nations. So no one country should claim space for itself. And so similarly, kalau ada solar power tu, how do we manage with the rest of the people on Earth? And I think in the end, you have to ask ourselves, in terms of responsibility, whatever you do, you need to think of the human race. If we are exploiting resources, should we not share the resources with the human race? Now, if we are going to save, if we're going to deflect an asteroid, I think you know that when the asteroids come to Earth, it might fall, and when it falls, it will cause the biggest climate change that nobody can help us. Like the dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago, we think because of an asteroid. And many countries are trying to see how we can deflect that asteroid so that it won't impact the Earth. So the people who are planning to deflect this asteroid must think of the whole human race, not of saving one country only.
Yeah.
Because if you deflect, you can prevent that asteroid from falling on America because they are the ones with the technology. But should we allow them that? Because then they will deflect it to Malaysia and then we die. So we have whatever solutions that we come up with, we have to think of the human race and the human civilization. Climate change is one of them. And so the way I see astronomy being one of the strongest fields of the future for the young people is because whatever happens in astronomy or whatever changes technology, it happens at a civilizational level, at the civilization level. It doesn't happen at an individual country or not at all at an individual person. whatever solutions, whatever benefits we're getting will impact the whole human civilization. Whether Elon Musk takes us to Mars, that is about our human civilization, not only of the Americans or the Chinese. And so that's why I feel that astronomy, space is one of the most exciting fields in science today. It is very multidisciplinary. I told you that people have to be multidimensional, this multidisciplinary, and I would encourage people, even if you're a lawyer, even if you are an architect or a neurosurgeon, be interested in astronomy, because that is the way you will expand your mind in whatever way that you like your mind to be expanded. In the religious sense, in the scientific sense, in the cultural sense, in the aesthetic, the arts as well, and definitely in the science. So that is what astronomy and astrophysics will offer you. And I think I should end there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tan Sri. I think that is a very clear explanation on that question, Tan Sri. Tan Sri, we are running out of time.
Yes, we are now run out of time at the end.
I would still like
11:00.
to give you, Tan Sri, probably 2-3 minutes to basically conclude atau final words untuk amanat kepada saintis-saintis muda yang bakal kemas beberapa tahun akan datang.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I think I said that already, that if you are looking to see a science, to pursue science, then space is of course a very good field to pursue, except that sometimes there are not many careers in there. But science is what you need to solve a lot of problems, whether it's climate change, whether it's agriculture, or whether or not we should prevent a world war. You think that there's only a political issue? It is not, because as scientists, we can come up with solutions for the politicians, So never underestimate the role of science in diplomacy, in politics, and this is why we need people in this room to pursue all kinds of fields. But the important thing is to be at the frontier of wherever you are. You have to be at the frontier of law. Remember I said just now, we came up with an act that to me tak best, tak ada because we were not at the frontier of law. And so we don't have a space program and think of a satellite program yang betul-betul hebat, because we are not looking at the frontier of technology. Kita tengok balik what did Landsat do? No, we have to go and look at what new things people are doing. So whatever you are doing, be at the frontier. That's all I would say.
Thank you, Tan Sri. I totally agree with you on the Akta lah, Tan Sri. Sebab Tan Sri tahu kan dulu I'm the one that lead that new acts, and I know the direction is, but somehow I cannot really interfere because Tan Sri, that is not my field. So all the expert, they are leading to that. But the keyword is frontier. So kita mesti sentiasa ke depan, kata Tan Sri. With that, thank you so much, Tan Sri.
You're welcome.
Dan saya serahkan semula kepada pengurus.
Demikian berakhirnya Majlis Bicara Kanta Youth Science. Terima kasih diucapkan sekali lagi kepada Profesor Emerita yang sudi berkongsi bersama kita pada hari ini. Terima kasih kepada Profesor Madya Teknologis, Dr. Ramzah Dambul selaku Moderator. Baiklah, sebagai makluman para hadirin, pada awal pagi tadi kita telah mengadakan satu pertandingan mewarna kanak-kanak bagi menyempurnakan acara penyampaian hadiah. Bagi menyempurnakan acara penyampaian hadiah kepada pemenang, Majlis menjemput Profesor Emerita diiringi oleh Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah untuk naik ke pentas bagi menyampaikan hadiah kepada para pemenang. Majlis mempersilakan. Baiklah, keputusan kini berada di tangan saya. Tempat ketiga dimenangi oleh Adi Nurdia Zana Muhammad Rizwan. Tempat kedua dimenangi oleh Adi Alim Zikri bin Jupri. Dan tempat pertama dimenangi oleh Adi Nur Faresa Azera Muhammad Zuri. Majlis menjemput pemenang tempat pertama. Pertandingan mewarna iaitu Adi Nur Faresa Arzera menyampaikan hasil karyanya kepada Profesor Emerita sebagai tanda-tanda kenangan program kita pada hari ini. Tahniah kepada adik-adik yang comel yang menang pertandingan mewarna. Terima kasih kepada Profesor Emerita kerana sudi menyampaikan hadiah kepada para pemenang. Sempurnanya sesi penyampaian hadiah sebentar tadi, maka berakhirlah sudah program Bicara Kanta Sains UMS. Majlis sekali lagi mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi terima kasih kepada Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman dan Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah Dambul sebagai moderator atas perkongsian ilmu yang sangat bermanfaat kepada kita pada hari ini. Mengumumkan ketibaan yang bersahar. Mengumumkan ketibaan yang berusaha Puan Maria Chong, Timbalan Setiausaha Tetap 1, Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, mewakili Yang Berhormat Datuk Yaakob Han, Menteri Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah. Hadirin dipohon untuk terus berdiri bagi nyanyian lagu Negaraku dan Sabah Tanah Airku. Hadirin dipersilakan duduk. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam keluarga Malaysia. Yang berusaha, Puan Maria Chong, Timbalan Setiausaha Tetap 1, Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah. Mewakili Yang Berhormat Datuk Yaakob Khan, Menteri Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah. Yang berbahagia, Profesor Madya Dr. Rahman Nordin, Timbalan Naib Chancellor, Hal Ehwal Pelajar dan Alumni, menjalankan fungsi Naib Chancellor Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Yang berbahagia, Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman, Perintis dalam bidang Sains dan Teknologi di Malaysia. Yang berbahagia, Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah Dambul, Ketua Eksekutif Institut Kajian Pembangunan Sabah, merangkap Ketua Pengurusi Jawatankuasa Teknikal Majlis Pembangunan Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, MAPTIS. Pegawai-pegawai utama dan kanan Universiti Malaysia Sabah, pegawai-pegawai Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, ketua-ketua jabatan, agensi kerajaan negeri dan persekutuan, pensyarah, guru-guru serta pelajar-pelajar IPT, sekolah menengah, rakan-rakan media, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati sekalian. Selamat datang ke Majlis Perasmian Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara Peringkat Universiti Malaysia Sabah tahun 2022. Bagi memberkati majlis kita pada pagi ini, majlis dengan hormat menjemput Al-Fadil Ustaz Mahmud Mahanis untuk memimpin bacaan doa. Majlis mempersilakan.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ala kulli hal wa fi kulli halin wa ni'mah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Ya Rahmanu Ya Rahim. Ya Allah, kami menadah tangan penuh ketulusan dan kerendahan hati memohon perkenan-Mu, redha-Mu dan nikmat syurga-Mu. Jauhkanlah kami daripada kemurkaan-Mu dan azab neraka-Mu. Ya Fattahu Ya Alim. Ya Allah, kami menzahirkan kesyukuran kami kerana dengan limpah dan kurnia-Mu dapat lagi kami berkumpul pada pagi yang berbahagia ini, bersempena dengan Majlis Perasmian Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara Peringkat UMS pada tahun ini. Ya Dzal Jalali wal Ikram, Ya Allah, Kau curahkanlah keberkatan ke atas program kami pada pagi ini. Jadikanlah ia sebagai suatu jalan untuk kami menunaikan tanggungjawab yang telah diamanahkan kepada kami. Ya Fattahu Ya Alim, Ya Allah, kurniakanlah ke atas kami sekalian nikmat ilmu dan kefahaman, nikmat kesihatan, keamanan, keselamatan, kesejahteraan, serta jauhkanlah kami daripada segala keburukan, bala bencana, wabak penyakit, khususnya penyakit COVID-19 yang telah melanda negara kami sebelum ini, khususnya dan seluruh dunia ini amnya. Ya Allah, Engkau angkatlah wabak ini daripada negeri dan negara kami ini khususnya dan seluruh dunia ini amnya. Ya Allah, berikanlah kami kebaikan hidup di dunia ini, lebih-lebih lagi di akhirat yang kekal abadi. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Majlis mengucapkan terima kasih di atas bacaan doa sebentar tadi. Hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, bagi meneruskan acara pada hari ini, majlis dengan hormat dan takzimnya menjemput yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Rahman Nordin, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Hal Ehwal Pelajar dan Alumni menjalankan fungsi Naib Chancellor Universiti Malaysia Sabah untuk menyampaikan ucapan alu-aluan. Majlis dengan hormatnya mempersilakan.
Terima kasih pengacara majlis. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin asyrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Yang berusaha Puan Maria Chong, Timbalan Setiausaha Tetap Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah ataupun KSTI lah nama manjanya, yang mewakili Yang Berhormat Datuk Yaakob Khan selaku Menteri KSTI. Pastinya yang berbahagia Tan Sri Profesor Emerita, Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman, Perintis Bidang Sains dan Teknologi Malaysia. Pastinya yang berusaha, ini sahabat kita ni yang dipinjamkan di state, orang hebat UMS. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah Dambul, Ketua Pengerusi Jawatankuasa Teknikal Majlis Pembangunan Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, dan merangkap juga Ketua Eksekutif Institute Development of Studies ataupun IDS. Kemudian pastinya Encik Sazali, tuan rumah, Ketua Pustakawan UMS. Yang berusaha Tuan Haji Zawawi Tiunin, Ketua U-Sains, merangkap pengurusi bersama program Kanta U-Sains dan Karnival Sains Sabah, Minggu Sains Negara dan World Space Week Peringkat Universiti Malaysia Sabah tahun 2022. Tidak dilupakan yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Fifi Hanisdah Saikim, pengarah Pusat Pengurusan Strategik Komunikasi Korporat atau PPSKK, juga merangkap pengurusi bersamalah bagi program kita pada hari ini. Ketua-ketua jabatan, agensi kerajaan negeri dan persekutuan, pegawai-pegawai utama dan kanan universiti, pensyarah, guru-guru serta pelajar-pelajar IPT sekolah menengah, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati sekalian, dan juga pastinya kalau ada rakan-rakan media lah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam UMS, salam keluarga Malaysia dan salam Sabah Maju Jaya. So, pertama sekali izinkan saya memanjatkan setinggi-tinggi rasa syukur kehadrat Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala dengan izinnya, limpah kurnianya, kelapangan yang diberikan, kita dapat sama-sama berhimpun di dalam perpustakaan Universiti Malaysia Sabah ini, section New Science, dalam satu majlis pelancaran Karnival Sains Sabah, Minggu Sains Negara Peringkat Universiti Malaysia Sabah bagi tahun 2022. So, terlebih dahulu bagi pihak Universiti Malaysia Sabah, saya ingin merakamkan ucapan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada Puan Maria Chong, Timbalan Setiausaha Tetap Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, yang meruangkan masa mewakili Yang Berhormat Datuk Yaakob Khan, Menteri Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, atas kesudian meluangkan masa untuk hadir bersama bagi menyempurnakan majlis pada hari ini. Mungkin kita boleh bagi satu tepukan lah. Puan ni bukan calang-calang ni, jadual sangat ketat. Tadi saya baru terdengar-dengar dia limpas-limpas, saya bilang dia satu orang ni kalau tim untuk jabatan. So, terima kasih Puan, kami sangat menghargai kehadiran Puan pada hari ini, dan ini juga salah satu manifestasi lah, ataupun menunjukkan komitmen states dalam mendukung elemen STEM ini. Alright. So, syabas dan tahniah kepada jawatan kuasa pelaksana dan semua pihak yang terlibat dalam menjayakan majlis pada hari ini. Terima kasih yang tidak terhingga kepada Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah KSTI, Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Malaysia MOSTI, Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, Planetarium Negara, Pusat Sains Negara, Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sabah, agensi di bawah KSTI dan MOSTI, Jabatan Fakulti Institut dan Pusat di UMS, serta semua pihak yang terlibat dalam merealisasikan usaha dan inisiatif pembudayaan sains, teknologi, kejuruteraan dan matematik ataupun nama manjanya STEM lah, yang berlaku di UMS. So, hadirin dan hadirat yang dihormati sekalian, sistem pendidikan Malaysia masih melalui proses transformasi menyeluruh, dan salah satu inisiatif utama ialah mengukuhkan pendidikan STEM. Antara matlamat pendidikan STEM ialah melahirkan pelajar berliterasi STEM, yang berupaya untuk mengenal pasti, mengaplikasi serta mengintegrasi konsep STEM untuk memahami masalah dan menyelesaikannya secara kreatif dan inovatif. So hal ini dapat dijayakan melalui pembelajaran bersepadu yang mengaplikasikan konteks dunia sebenar dan menggunakan pendekatan hands-on dan penerokaan terbuka. So dewasa ini negara menghadapi dilema apabila peratus pelajar dalam aliran berkaitan STEM adalah lebih rendah seperti daripada yang diinginkan dan menimbulkan kerisauan banyak pihak. So dengan adanya inisiatif penganjuran Karnival Sains, Minggu Sains Negara dan World Space Week di peringkat universiti, ia bertujuan supaya dapat membantu memupuk minat pelajar dalam bidang-bidang yang berkaitan di samping memberi pendedahan awal ke arah penciptaan dan inovasi. So UMS sentiasa komited untuk membantu dan menyokong aspirasi kerajaan negeri khususnya dalam memperkasakan aspek STEM di negeri ini dan pelan pembangunan Sabah Maju Jaya. So peranan universiti tidak boleh dikesampingkan bagi memastikan pembelajaran dan pengajaran subjek yang berkaitan diperkasa dari semasa ke semasa. Mungkin satu hari nanti kita mampu melahirkan seorang saintis muda yang kritis seperti Al-Jazari yang digelar Bapa Robotik. So antara program yang telah dilaksanakan masih berlangsung dan akan berlangsung yang disediakan adalah ini seperti yang dimaklumkan oleh Universiti lah. Ada seperti penyertaan UMS dalam program Jelajah Pantai Timur dan Barat Sabah, Karnival STEM Asasi UMS, STEM for You at UMS, program 3S, ini berbentuk webinar, Science and Arts Camp, Bengkel Astro Rover, Python 3D Printing, Audiono, pertandingan dan banyak lagi. So pada hari ini program Kanta Youth Science pula dibawa iaitu bersama Profesor Emerita kita, merupakan pelopor STEM di Malaysia ni, iaitu Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman yang merupakan perintis dalam bidang sains dan teknologi di Malaysia yang tidak asing lagi serta merupakan orang yang bertanggungjawab menubuhkan planetarium negara. Mungkin kita perlu bagi satu tepukan yang gemuruh untuk yang berbahagia Tan Sri ya. Dan kami sangat berbangga menerima yang berbahagia Tan Sri pada hari ini di UMS lah. So hadirin yang saya hormati sekalian, program dalam bentuk best practices, inovasi dan hands-on diharapkan akan membuka minda anak-anak kita di semua peringkat. Program ini tidak akan dapat dilaksana tanpa peruntukan, dana serta sokongan. So UMS amat berterima kasih terutamanya kepada pihak KSTI, terima kasih Puan, dan juga MOSTI atas sokongan yang tidak terhingga. Semoga dengan bantuan dan kerjasama yang diberikan ini kita dapat bersama-sama berganding bahu memajukan STEM di negeri ini. So akhir kata sebelum saya mengundurkan diri, saya sekali lagi ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada pihak KSTI di bawah pimpinan yang berhormat Datuk Yaakob Khan, Menteri Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, di atas sokongan yang diberikan. Dan ribuan terima kasih juga diucapkan kepada rakan-rakan kolaborasi dan pakar-pakar yang terlibat dalam pelaksanaan program Karnival Sains Sabah, Minggu Sains Negara, peringkat UMS bagi tahun 2022 ini. So tidak lupa juga kepada semua jabatan dan agensi-agensi persekutuan dan negeri, sekolah, universiti serta organisasi yang terlibat dalam menjayakan program pada hari ini. Semoga segala usaha dan bakti yang disumbangkan akan memberikan manfaat dan kepada UMS dan komuniti di Sabah secara keseluruhannya. Juga sekali lagi penghargaan kepada Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri, dan juga KSTI lah, dan juga tahniah kepada Youth Science lah yang diketuai oleh Tuan Haji Zawawi di atas inisiatif yang saya yakin memberi impak yang besar kepada stage lah. So saya ingat itu saja daripada saya. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Rahman Nordin atas ucapan alu-aluan sebentar tadi. Majlis diteruskan dengan menjemput dan mempersilakan Yang Berusaha Puan Maria Chong, Timbalan Setiausaha 1 Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, mewakili Yang Berhormat Datuk Yaakob Khan untuk menyampaikan ucapan Yang Berhormat Menteri dan seterusnya merasmikan Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara peringkat Universiti Malaysia Sabah bagi tahun 2022.
kasih pengacara majlis yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Rahman Nordin, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Hal Ehwal Pelajar dan Alumni yang menjalankan fungsi Naib Chancellor Universiti Malaysia Sabah, UMS. Yang berbahagia Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman, my idol. I'm so teruja to finally meet you. Perintis dalam bidang sains dan teknologi di Malaysia. Yang berusaha, our friend in Kersti, Profesor Madya Technologies, Dr. Ramzah Dambul, Ketua Eksekutif Institute for Development Studies Sabah, merangkap Ketua Pengerusi Jawatankuasa Teknikal Majlis Pembangunan Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah MAPTIS. Saya difahamkan tadi Tuan Sazali ya, Pustakawan UMS, Ketua Pustakawan UMS, para pegawai utama dan kanan UMS, para pegawai yang mengikuti saya tadi dari Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi Sabah, Kersti, yang berusaha, our good friend, Encik Zawawi Tiyunin, Ketua U-Sains, merangkap pengurusi bersama Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara 2022, peringkat UMS. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Fifi Hanisdah Saikim, Pengarah Pusat Pengurusan Strategik dan Komunikasi Korporat, merangkap pengurusi bersama ya, Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara 2022, peringkat UMS. Ketua-ketua jabatan, agensi kerajaan negeri dan persekutuan, pensyarah, guru-guru, pelajar-pelajar IPT dan sekolah menengah, sahabat-sahabat media, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati sekalian. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera, salam Sabah Maju Jaya dan salam keluarga Malaysia. Terlebih dahulu saya sampaikan salam yang berhormat Datuk Yaakob yang tidak dapat bersama-sama kita pada pagi ya. Pada hari ini kerana terpaksa menghadiri mesyuarat kabinet yang telah ditetapkan pada saat terakhir. So saya sangat bersyukur pada hari ini kita dapat bersama-sama dalam Majlis Pelancaran Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara peringkat UMS tahun 2022 ya. Setinggi-tinggi penghargaan, syabas dan tahniah saya ucapkan kepada UMS dan ahli jawatankuasa pelaksana di atas inisiatif dan usaha gigih menganjurkan Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara peringkat UMS bagi tahun 2022. Terutamanya kepada U-Sains lah, Pusat Pengurusan Strategik dan Komunikasi Korporat, Pusat Persediaan Sains dan Teknologi, Fakulti, Institut dan jabatan yang terlibat sama ada secara langsung atau tidak langsung. Dan saya ingin mengambil kesempatan ini untuk merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada U-Sains, UMS yang merupakan rakan strategik kami, menganjurkan Karnival Sains Sabah ini dan Minggu Sains Negara pada kali ini. U-Sains juga merupakan rakan tetap kolaborasi Kersti. Diharapkan kerjasama seumpama ini diteruskan dalam penganjuran program berkaitan sains, teknologi, kejuruteraan dan matematik atau STEM secara ringkasnya dengan pengisian yang lebih menyeronokkan pada masa akan datang. Hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara peringkat UMS bertujuan untuk menyemai dan memupuk kesedaran serta menyemarakkan pembudayaan dan pengaplikasian STEM di Universiti dan di negeri Sabah. Kenapa STEM? Kita memerlukan tenaga kerja yang berteraskan STEM bagi memacu ekonomi negara. Dunia kini bergerak ke arah revolusi industri 4.0 yang banyak mengaplikasikan teknologi berbentuk artificial intelligence. Justru peranan sekolah dan universiti sangat penting ya dalam menghasilkan modal insan berorientasikan pendidikan STEM. Sesungguhnya kejayaan program ini menggambarkan kesepakatan semua pihak dalam mendukung wawasan negara. Pelbagai idea dan pemikiran baharu telah dan sentiasa dijelmakan seperti program ini yang berupaya memantapkan sistem yang telah sedia diimplementasikan secara lestari. Penganjuran program seumpama ini di bawah inisiatif pengukuhan STEM diharap dapat memupuk minat masyarakat, terutamanya pelajar-pelajar kita dalam bidang STEM dengan lebih sistematik dan holistik. Pelbagai inisiatif dihasilkan dan dipacu dengan lebih pantas agar memberi impak yang positif kepada warga sekolah, universiti, komuniti dan negeri Sabah. Anjakan pemikiran yang menjangkau masa hadapan dan merentas pelbagai disiplin keilmuan serta kemahiran itu perlu digarap secara mapan. Justru kepimpinan universiti, sekolah, pensyarah dan guru perlu komited bagi menyedia dan melahirkan modal insan yang mampu menghadapi cabaran global yang dinamik. Dalam pada itu, semua pihak termasuklah ibu bapa perlu diberi kesedaran dan penerangan mengenai kepentingan bakat baharu dalam bidang STEM selain memastikan kelestarian pembangunan teknologi diteruskan di kalangan generasi masa hadapan. Seterusnya dapat menyingkirkan tanggapan bahawa STEM merupakan pelajaran sukar serta membosankan. Di hari ini saya ingin kongsikan satu cerita di masa dulu tentang peranan guru yang memberi impak dan juga salah satu mata pelajaran STEM ini. Pada tahun 80-an lah, 40 tahun yang lalu lah ya, lama sudah, tua sudah. Saya berkesempatan menghadiri MRSM Kota Baru dan saya masih ingat sampai hari ini cikgu mata pelajaran matematik tambahan saya, namanya sama juga dengan pengurusi bersama kita, Cikgu Zawawi, tapi bukan Zawawi Tinulin ya. Orangnya kacak sehingga kan pelajar-pelajar perempuan membuat lagu untuk cikgu ni. Tapi yang lebih penting lagi dia seorang genius at maths ya. So apabila cara dia mengajar at maths, dia ke kelas, tapi dia tidak mengajar yang satu sebiji-sebiji. Dia buat satu solusi dy dx di papan hitam, kemudian dia kembali ke bilik cikgu. Diarah kami untuk membuat sebanyak mana penyelesaian dy dx atau dy dx untuk persediaan menghadapi peperiksaan SPM lah. So that was how we managed to score dalam matematik tambahan lah. You just have to do all the solution yang dari tahun-tahun lepas tu kita buat. Sekiranya tersangkut, boleh merujuk kepada Cikgu Zawawi lah di bilik cikgu. Apabila cara dia menyelesaikan, he is very fast. Dia tengok saja soalan tu, he can already solve it. So he was a genius. Tapi yang berkesan sampai sekarang dan masih saya ingati dan pegang, dia ialah perkataan yang dikongsikan oleh Cikgu Zawawi, iaitu matematik ialah permainan dewa-dewa. So it got us excited, motivated dan proud lah kalau kita dapat menyelesaikan. If we are good in maths and we like math, especially matematik tambahan. Jadi we got excited by that statement, and saya harap adik-adik, anak-anak yang ada pada hari ini dan juga yang di rumah, anak-anak kamu semua, adik-adik yang berada di rumah, boleh memegang dan perkataan tersebut dan get excited juga ya, get excited, get proud to be, to know salah satu mata pelajaran STEM ini, yaitu matematik tambahan. It's actually sains tulen ya, matematik. So you are actually a dewa if you boleh boleh buat matematik tambahan. Okay, saya amat yakin bahawa penganjuran Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara peringkat UMS pada tahun ini dapat mencapai objektif yang dirancang. Ia merupakan manifestasi kolaboratif, komitmen serta kreativiti dan pemikiran kritis semua pihak dalam memberi manfaat sejagat. Hadirin hadirat sekalian, sebelum mengakhiri ucapan, saya sekali lagi ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada semua pihak atas kerjasama dan usaha gigih yang telah diberikan atas kerja dalam menjayakan Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara peringkat UMS ini. Saya berharap agar anak-anak kita rebutlah peluang untuk menyertai aktiviti seperti pertandingan, webinar, perkemahan serta bengkel yang dianjurkan. Akhir kata, selamat membudayakan sains, teknologi dan inovasi, dan saya dengan sukacitanya merasmikan Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara peringkat UMS bagi tahun 2022. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih yang berusaha, Puan Maria Chong. Di pohon yang berusaha untuk terus berada di atas pentas bagi sesi pelancaran maskot YouScience. Majlis menjemput Ketua YouScience UMS, Tuan Haji Zawawi Tiyunin bersama pengurusi program Profesor Madya Dr. Fifi Asnida Saikim untuk mengiringi yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Rahman Nordin untuk naik ke pentas. Majlis mempersilakan. Se bermaksud sahabat dari bahasa Bajau di pantai barat Sabah. Se mempunyai ciri-ciri robot pada masa akan datang, iaitu pertama, mempunyai cermin mata pintar berkonsepkan Artificial Intelligence.
Hello everyone.
Mempunyai elektronik poket untuk menyimpan maklumat data, juga mempunyai barcode untuk pengenalan diri. Ketiga, selain itu dibahagikan belakang kepada Se, mempunyai formula asas matematik. Warna biru merujuk kepada warna kehidupan dan pembelajaran yang harmoni serta menggambarkan ikatan ukhuwah antara warga kampus. Warna hijau dan tumbuhan adalah UMS sebagai sebuah universiti yang menyokong kepada ekokampus. Salam mesra dan salam perkenalan dari Se untuk semua. Hadirin yang dihormati, majlis diteruskan dengan acara penyampaian cenderamata sebagai tanda kenang-kenangan daripada Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Majlis dengan hormatnya menjemput yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Rahman Nordin untuk menyampaikan cenderamata kepada Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Ramzah Dambul. Seterusnya, cenderamata kepada yang berbahagia Profesor Emerita Tan Sri Dr. Mazlan Othman. Dan kepada yang berusaha Puan Maria Chong. Terima kasih yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Rahman Nordin atas penyampaian cenderamata sebentar tadi. Menjemput tetamu kehormat untuk berada di tempat duduk bagi sesi bergambar. Hadirin, maka dengan itu kita berada di ujung majlis Perasmian Karnival Sains Sabah dan Minggu Sains Negara Peringkat Universiti Malaysia Sabah bagi tahun 2022. Dengan ini saya sudahi majlis kita dengan wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam hormat.
Thank you.